This is a quick video to help you understand whether you are suffering from imposter syndrome. So I'm just going to share my screen so you can see some of my slides on this. So this is from one of the courses that's most popular at the moment called The Wisdom of Imposter Syndrome. So the first thing to know about imposter syndrome is it's not a diagnosis. It's not laid down in the diagnostic criteria. It's not a syndrome. It's not a condition or a disorder. It's simply something that people talk about as a collection of symptoms, which we sort of all collectively agree is something that sometimes shows up in the human condition. So having it doesn't mean that you are an imposter, just that you sometimes, or perhaps even frequently, feel like one. And this often shows up when you are at work, or you are parenting, or you're doing something which stretches your comfort zone and that takes you outside of what you're happy doing. Imposter syndrome varies widely in both intensity and pervasiveness. So we need to think carefully about whether what we're going through are merely passing symptoms of imposter syndrome, or whether it's intense enough and pervasive enough, so lasting over a long enough period of time to think, well, actually, no, this is the syndrome that is showing up here. The other thing to know is that imposter syndrome is really trying to describe the spectrum of self-appreciation. So let's look at that spectrum. So here we go. In the middle of our spectrum, we've got a healthy self-appreciation level. On the far left, we've got imposter syndrome. And on the far right, we've got the Dunning Kruger Effect. So the Dunning Kruger Effect, we think there of people who have an overinflated sense of self-appreciation. The most obvious example from recent times is Donald Trump, who would always think of himself as being the best at everything, the most intelligent, the healthiest, have the most followers, the most appreciation in the country, most people agreeing with him, all this sort of stuff, which quite often ran against the actual factual situation. So we could say at the far end of the self-appreciation scale, we've got something that's also pretty unhealthy. And then at the other end, we've got imposter syndrome, where we have a really diminished sense of self-appreciation. We're not really seeing our worth, our strengths, our abilities. So the problems with both of those, and what we're really looking to do is to land somewhere in the middle with a healthy level of self-appreciation. Now, along the way, as we learn and grow as individuals, we're all going to experience imposter tendencies. So there'll be periods of time when we're in stretch or strain, where we're learning something new, where we're stepping up at work, we've got a new challenge, a new role, maybe we've just become a father or mother. All sorts of things can lead to imposter tendencies, where we're really validly questioning, is this something I can do? And similarly, there might be moments when we get a new skill under our belt, we start feeling a bit of an inflated sense of our self-appreciation. And so that's sort of the territory of sort of pride before a fall, where we start thinking, oh, I'm amazing at this. I can, start doing this at a level of mastery. Maybe we're not quite there yet. And so, we fall on our face a little bit there. So this is the spectrum. It's useful to notice where we might be at any given point in time. And when we kind of pinpoint where we are on the scale, it can help us navigate back to a healthy self-appreciation level. So with that in mind, maybe you can answer the question now, whether you actually have imposter syndrome, so a pervasive long-term syndrome of not feeling that you're good enough, not able to do what you're meant to be doing, or whether there are just times in your life when you experience imposter tendencies. So let me know. I'd be really curious to hear your experience of this. And if anyone's interested in the full course, do DM me. I'll give you more information about the wisdom of imposter syndrome. Thanks for watching.